Trudeau tweeted on the day that President Trump signed that executive order on immigration. He said, "To those fleeing persecution, terror and war, Canadians will welcome you regardless of your faith. Diversity is our strength. Welcome to Canada" is the hashtag. Obviously a difference of opinion there, certainly on the policy side of the immigration and refugee question, Leslie. Does that come out today or do they avoid it?
I think they're going to avoid it. I mean, there's a reason that we have seen the president speak very harshly regarding Mexico. And if you notice, he wants to keep our borders safe and build a wall, but not with Canada. If you look at the facts, and the facts are Donald Trump's a great businessman, and it is great business when the United States cannot have a deficit, but rather a trade surplus, as we saw in 2015, over $6 billion. And in 2016, they're expecting that number to increase. If this ends up in a very bad relationship, and they are our second largest trading partner worldwide, we're looking at over 3 million jobs in the United States that could be affected between what Canada purchases and the investments that they make in the United States. So the bottom line here is it benefits both sides, although Canada right now needs us more than we need them. We certainly need a country where we who we have a surplus as opposed to a deficit.
But it's fair, don't you think, Leslie, just to follow up quickly, you know, when you're talking about border security, you do think of Mexico and you don't think of Canada.
Well, this is where that racist term comes up again, you know.
Oh, that's racist?
I think because no. I mean, when you have hot, white, Eastern European supermodels coming in through Canada, people don't think of them as a threat. Come on, Ashley. I mean, the reality is that a lot of the people that come through Canada are largely white. They're coming from Ireland, or they're coming from England, or from Germany, or from Eastern European countries.
Are they coming legally?
There are many people. There are many people that come over the Canadian border illegally, just as our southern border with Mexico. And I think people just focus on our southern border with Mexico. Here in Los Angeles, we have people coming in through the ports from Asian countries illegally, but we just concentrate on that southern Mexico-U.S. border. We have 4 borders.
Yeah, and that's been difficult, Leslie, hasn't it? Because, you know, as we see people being rounded up now, as the law is actually being enforced, there's a cry from those who are undocumented, illegal, whatever you want to, what term you want to use. But they're saying, wait a minute, this isn't right. But my contention is, and others too, is that if you're here illegally, what rights do you have when it comes to dealing with U.S. authorities and saying, look, I have a right to be here? There are many who would argue, no, you don't.
Wow, this is a huge discussion. I live in Southern California. Here in California, we have the largest number of undocumented workers. We had ICE officials following children off of school buses here. They also did it outside of Austin, Texas. Those children are not criminals because those children don't have a choice. I have an 8- and 9-year-old. I tell them what to do. They listen. I am the adult. They are a child. I was talking to somebody on my talk radio show who came here at 4. She didn't know until she was in college, technically, that she was an undocumented individual, that her parents had made this choice for her. I think we all agree, regardless of our ideology, if there's a criminal element, they need to be deported, not just to Mexico, to whatever country they came from. But when we have people that have been here longer than some of us have been here, some of these individuals have been here 4 or 5 generations, those individuals who have been working hard, who have not broken the law, nor had their family for generations, they pay taxes, and they are definitely an asset and a contributor to this economy, and are part of our fabric, our international fabric in this country. We need to find a pathway to citizenship for those individuals.
Look, this point, but Donald Trump saying, look, I see the intelligence briefings. They show problems that you, the public, have no idea about. He says there are problems out there in every corner of the world. But he went on to say, look, I want to let people in that big, beautiful door, he says, but I can't let the bad people in. It's common sense. And we will pursue this policy vigorously. Trudeau, Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, said, look, we differ in approaches, he said, but no one in Canada expects me to come down and lecture another country. We just want to be a positive example in the world. Interesting choice of words, very soft selling it. There are differences, no doubt. Leslie Marshall, to Buck's point, you know, was this a diplomatic win for Donald Trump?
Well, I would say that perhaps Prime Minister Trudeau up to the bar of class, diplomacy, and the way a leader behaves. And I say that because I think we actually saw the president for one of the very rare times, honestly, in my opinion, acting presidential. He had somebody write his words. He stuck to it. He didn't go off script. And he was in the role that he needed to be at that press conference. I do think, however, Canadians might be a bit disappointed because I think there were some people that were looking for that Hugh Grant and Love Actually moment. I think we saw that certainly with Theresa May from the UK. That Brits were hoping for, and we definitely, I think, are going to see this on Twitter in just a few minutes from Canadians wanting the Prime Minister to be stronger. But to his credit, I don't think it's anyone's in this or another country's responsibility to say how another country should or shouldn't operate. But I think it's important that he express the Canadian values. To your point, Ashley, regarding immigration, the president, I was disappointed, didn't specifically answer the question that reporter asked, which was
because he was sticking to his notes,
with the northern border, with security with specifically the northern border. And the other thing is when he says he wants people, to come here and trying to act welcoming. Yeah, I just can't forget that little boy with the blood and mud all over him from Syria that would love to come here. But those children and those orphans, those children and those orphans, those children, those orphans, those refugees from Syria, they are not a criminal element.